welcome back to the show. We got a good show. Look at this. There's ammunition laying all over the floor here in the studio. That was our little viewer mail. Funny, too, wasn't it? You just can't beat blatant gunplay for good, solid laughs. So we'll put those away. All right, we have a fine program. I've mentioned that before, so why don't we just get on with it, shall we? My first guest tonight, this man, a fascinating career and a fascinating individual. He became a disc jockey when he was 14 years of age, and he has been in show business ever since. He is one of the most influential and respected writers and performers in American music today, and this is his latest album right here. Please welcome Waylon Jennings, folks. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for being here.
All right. Let's do that again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for being here. Let me ask you about that joke. Do you hear that joke? A lot of people say, well, Waylon Jennings, did you bring Madam the puppet? Do you ever hear that?
No, I'm going to start a new act. I'm going to use Paul for my puppet.
Well, he may be available, as it turns out. So,
I imagine he's heard. No, I like that act, though, Madam.
Oh, yeah, they're terrific. Let me ask you about the album here. Yeah. I was looking back here. Waylon and Company vocal sidemen include, you got some guys on here who have worked before, Jerry Reed, Hank Williams Jr., Ernest Tubb. I wish my name was Ernest Tubb, but that's another story. Emmylou Harris, Willie Nelson, Tony Joe White, Waylon, Jesse Coulter, James Garner.
He sounds like Maverick singing, you know that?
That is the James Garner from, yeah. Now, how does he happen to appear on your album?
Well, James, you know, like, we're good friends. We've been friends for a long time, and like, he, and once in a while, he's in his house out in L.A., he'll have, you know, some people over and some musicians, and have what we call guitar pulling, you know, like everybody's singing, and he just walks around, and I'd hear him singing harmony, you know, like, and he loves music. And so one time I said, why don't you, let's cut a record on you. And he said, oh, okay.
You kind of had to wrestle him into it, huh?
Really, it was funny, like, because he had never heard himself, you know, on tape before singing. And he got a little nervous, you know, but I went in and did the track, you know, like with the band. And like, I went out to the bus and stayed out there for a little while. Here come James. And he'd gotten in there. He couldn't wait, you know. Like, got his headphones on and started, you know, like he tried to record on it. After a while, he came out there and he said, we're friends. We've been friends a long time, and I'm still your friend, and I'm fixing to show it to you. I'm fixing to let you out of this deal. He said, that sounded terrible out there. I said, no, actually, I said, you had never done it before. I said, we'll do it. And he said, no, really, he says, now, you got to let me out of this, because he said, I never could do it. And I said, well, just trust me. And he says, now, that means you in Hollywood.
That's good how you did that.
That's nice.
You just edited your...
I knew he was going to put a beep in it anyway.
It saved us a little trouble there. Now,
well, you want me to go back and do it again?
No.
Take two.
No. Now, in the introduction, we mentioned you were working as a disc jockey when you were 14.
You're the only ones that ever got that right. You know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Because everybody says I was 12. You know?
Well, how does a 14-year-old kid get a job doing anything, let alone a disc jockey?
Well, I knew all this stuff on this guy that owned that station. No, I had a radio program there singing on there, and this man that owned the station...
Where was this?
This is in
Texas?
Littlefield, Texas, yeah. That's the suburbs of a cotton patch. And there's either that or pull cotton, you know, or do that. And he said, you know, well, why don't we do some program of country music? And so I said, all right. And then the other announcers, you know, they did all the commercials, and we had a Wilcox Gay and a Webcord tape recorder, and you had to kick both of them to make them start. Yeah. So my big job was kicking the tape recorder and saying, here's the next record.
Now, but this wasn't your first job in show business, was it? You actually started performing earlier, huh?
Yeah, I did like in a talent contest, and I actually had a program when I was like about 13, you know, like me and a guy named Bill Pogue. He played lead guitar, and I sang, and that almost stunted my growth.
Now, when you finally went to Nashville, when you were much older, sometime in your late teens or your early 20s, and you had been there for a while, you had kind of an interesting way at one point in your career of working with the Nashville studio musicians.
I think you're talking about this. Merle Haggard, who's a country singer, and he had borrowed my gun. I had a .22 bunt line. And he brought it back to me at the studio.
Is that a big gun, by the way, a bunt line?
It's a long nose gun.
Yeah.
In which you can't hit nothing with it. And then, anyway, he brought it back to me there to at studio and the holster and everything. So I thought I'd be clever, you know. And I went in and I said, okay, anybody that plays, the first guy that plays a pickup note, or they have a number system where they write it down instead of the chords, which I still don't know what to do. If I see a guy looking at them numbers after we've done it 2 times, I'm going to blow your fingers off.
Yeah.
Everybody was looking up and no pickups. You know?
You didn't want him reading the music.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's music. You know, I mean, like, if you look at it the 3rd time, that means they ain't been listening.
Yeah, same stuff.
No, they're great. That's a good way of doing it.
Waylon, we got to go away for a commercial now. The guitar is out here. Are you going to play and sing for us tonight?
Who? What is that?
We'll take him out back and rough him up. Don't worry, folks. We'll be back with Waylon Jennings. Thank you so much. Waylon Jennings is here, and it turns out he did bring the puppet. Boy, we got a... Waylon, this is a great picture. We talked about your early career. You said you got started playing and performing about 12. Later, you're a DJ at 14. Tell us about this early gig, as we say.
Well, I played bass for a while. What's happening?
All right.
Played bass for Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
And, I played Chase.
Now, were you in the original Crickets?
No.
Part of the Crickets? A side guy or what?
I was like the Crickets, and Norman Petty had caused, you know, kind of a rift between the Crickets and Buddy Holly. I got to say that. You know? It's the truth, though. Anyway, they had split for a while. They were going back together there at the last. And anyway, I played bass until they were to be back, you know. And he bought the bass here in New York. Gave it to me and said, now learn to play it.
All right,
I memorized.
Yeah, this is you right where I'm backwards.
Yeah.
There, right there.
Yeah.
How old a guy are you suppose you are there?
I was 2. No, I was 28 years old. I think it's 20, yeah.
That's a great photo of...
That was just a few years ago.
Yeah. All right, now where were we? Oh, and now you and Johnny Cash for a while were roommates, weren't you?
Yeah, John's sick right now, and I sure hope he's feeling better.
Yeah, I hope so, too. Does it look like everything going to be all right?
I think so, you know. He's strong. He's you know, we can't do without him.
How old were you guys when you were roommates? And
I don't remember how old I was. I don't remember a lot of things about that. You know, anyway. John wrote a book, and there's a lot of blank places in that, too. But I think I was about 26, 27 years old.
This was in Nashville?
Yeah.
Did you guys do a lot of entertaining? A lot of dinner parties?
Sure we did. Well, John was a cook. You should see him with that black suit on, you know, with baking powder all over it. You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know what I did, except I kicked the doors down a lot, you know.
Now, why would a person need to kick doors down?
To get in the other side of the door.
Uh-huh.
No, that's what we did is like, you go into John, we'd going in there, and like, I'd be coming in, and he'd put the latch on, and like, and when we go to sleep, sometimes like me and him, we go to sleep, we went to sleep, boys. And so I had to kick it down to get in. Another thing too, there ain't nothing feels better than that door giving under your foot. I tell you when I figured out that maybe I was slowing down a little bit, it's like, I think it's down Alabama one time. I went around to one of the guys' rooms, and I thought, man, this is great. I'll scare him to death. And I could Holiday Inn. I reared back and kicked that door, and it was one of them metal doors.
Oh, yeah.
And I went, but the thing was, is the plate glass windows right beside it, all them big windows.
Yeah.
And it shattered.
Well, that's so you got a little something out of it.
Yeah, I did. And
yeah.
I also found out, too, that maybe I was a little bit scared of it anymore. Well, when the guy came around and said, what happened? I said, some kids over there throwing rocks while
So, you know what we ought to do some night is we'll set up some doors, and anybody who would like to come on, yourself included, certainly, and we'll kick them in. If it's that big a thrill...
And that old graphic guy in the back there, you know what? He almost pushed me through one a while ago.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No,
terrible.
no. Are you we're gonna sing here now? Okay, we got to go away for station identification. All right, you can hang around long enough to sing one song, can't you?
Yeah.
All right, good enough. We got to pause for station identification, folks. Waylon Jennings. next half hour of this show, Marv Albert will be here, also Rita Rudner. Monday, we got another great show. Actor Dennis Quaid. Did you see the Right Stuff, Waylon?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he's terrific in there. He plays Gordon Cooper. He will be here. Also, comedian Sandra Bernhardt. And we have kid inventors Curtis Lawson and Louis Barton. That'll be Monday. And also, it's key night. So anybody in the studio audience who needs duplicates of their keys made, this will be the place to be on Monday night.
Always too early or too late.
Yeah. What are you going to sing for us tonight?
This song about Nashville. See if them hillbillies have any sense of humor about themselves.
All right. We're honored to have you here. Waylon Jennings, folks.
Well, here's the latest news from Nashville. Some of it a little bit rough. Like Charlie Daniels' new day job. He's on TV selling snuff. George Jones quit drinking, and the CMA made him #1 on their TV show. Funny thing is, he always was, but they only discovered him about a year ago. Living legends are a dying breed. There ain't too many of them left. Tell you the truth, I ain't been feeling real hot lately myself. Well, old Willie's out in California. I ain't sure he's coming back. Him and Chris are out in Hollywood. They're trying to figure out how to act. Me and old Johnny Cash wrote a movie. Gonna put all the rest of them to shame. Gonna be starring Dolly Parton. We call it The Hunts Front of Notre Dame. Living lovers are a dying breed. You gotta love the ones you got left. Especially me, because I ain't been making out no whole lot lately myself. I'm a living legend in my own spare time. I wrote this song myself. If I'd have known it was going to turn out this bad, I might have got myself a little bit of help. That's all, folks.
Waylon Jennings. Waylon, thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Mr. Jennings. Nice man. All right. My first guest tonight, certainly one of the true legends of the music world. He is appearing with Waylon Jennings right across the street at Radio City Music Hall tomorrow night through Sunday night, and we're really delighted to have him here with us. Please hello to Johnny Cash. Good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. You look good.
Thank you very much.
How do you like being in New York City?
Just great.
Yeah? Do you come here often?
Yeah, I have an apartment here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my wife and I have had an apartment here about 7 or 8 years.
You know, this afternoon, when I saw you and some friends of yours come down the sixth floor hallway, there is such an overwhelming presence that you give off, or that you have. It's just, I can't imagine you walking down the streets of this city without being just besieged by folks. Do you have trouble with that?
Well, not really trouble. You know, I don't lock myself away. I enjoy my freedom. I enjoy New York City.
You get out and mingle with the folks?
Yeah, I go to movies.
Yeah?
I do all that. I like to go out,
Do you find that they come right up to you, or are they a little bit, because in all honesty, when I saw you and some of the other folks on the staff, you feel like, oh my God, and you kind of want to stand back. Well, like there may be trouble.
No trouble.
Yeah.
No, I enjoy meeting people.
Yeah.
You know, that's what my music is all about, people.
Yeah.
And,
I was talking to you in the makeup room about a television show you did in 1969. I guess it was just called The Johnny Cash Show. Done out of Nashville.
Yeah, I did.
One of the best music shows probably ever, right?
Well, thank you. We did 60 in all. We did 10 summer replacements of a show called Operation Entertainment in 1969. Then we did 2 seasons, 70 and 71, from the old Grand Ole Opry House. It was the first network show out of Nashville.
And it was pretty much just all music, wasn't it? Music and some talk?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, nobody coming out in duck suits or anything. It was just all,
No, it was, we really did it the hard way. The temperature in that building would get over 100 degrees in the summer.
Yeah.
And you couldn't air condition the building. It was so old, and but the facilities were good. Nashville was just
Who did you have
starting.
on the show?
We had just about everybody. We had Bob Dylan on the show. We had Mahalia Jackson, Bob Hope, Louis Armstrong. We had folk singers like Jack Elliott, Pete Seeger. We had Glenn Campbell, Waylon Jennings. We had country artists. We had Peggy Lee. We had, you know, everybody. We also had the first network appearance by people like Kenny Rogers in the first edition. Also on that show was The Who, Creedence Clearwater Revival. They did their first appearance on my show.
This was serious stuff, wasn't it? Because in those days, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I guess, but I don't recall any other show maybe that was that open to that wide range of musical talent.
Well, music is for everybody, and although I'm a country, known as a country artist, and it was a network show, and I wanted to see some people out on the show that I knew that the people wanted to see. I brought this magazine out because I heard that every time you got a country artist on the show, you send over to the office of Country Music Magazine to find out everything that you can about that person, so I just brought you the latest issue.
Oh, good. But, that's very nice of you. Now, you don't happen to have a piece of this thing, do you? Is
no.
That, oh, okay.
No, I don't, as a matter.
Now, talk a little bit about the story you were telling me before about one night at your house in Nashville. When people would come in to do the show, they may often stay with you.
That was January 1969, and Bob Dylan was there. He was doing his...
Staying at your house?
Yeah. He was doing his Nashville Skyline album. And that's when we did a lot of things in the studio together. They've been bootlegging that lately. But anyway, Dylan was there, and Christopherson, and Joni Mitchell, and Graham Nash, and Shel Silverstein. And I was telling you that that night in my house, the first time these songs were heard, Joni Mitchell sang Both Sides Now, Graham Nash sang Mary Cash Express, Shel Silverstein sang A Boy Named Sue, and Bob Dylan sang Lay Lady Lay, and Christopherson sang Me and Bobby McGee.
Good heavens.
It was the first time any of those songs were heard. That was that
Good
night.
heavens. Did you have snacks? I tell you what, when we come back, now you are going to sing something for us tonight.
I'd love to. I got
right.
a new song I want to do for you. Chris wrote it.
Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit about that and some other stuff. We'll be right back with Johnny Cash. They're terrific, and we've added, tell the folks who we've added here tonight.
Marty Stewart works with me and plays mandolin, guitar, fiddle.
Very
He's
nice.
Playing mandolin tonight.
What are you going to sing, John?
I want to do a new song written by Chris Christopherson. I've been working with Chris and Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings lately, and Chris has written the best songs I think he ever wrote, and recently, you know, and I've recorded 2 or 3 of them. I'd like to do one.
All right.
This song paints a picture, and it's from, inspired by the movie Grapes of Wrath. It's called Here Comes That Rainbow Again.
All right. Johnny
Okay,
Cash, folks. Here comes that rainbow again.
The scene was a small roadside cafe. The waitress was sweeping the floor. 2 truck drivers drinking their coffee, and 2 okay kids by the door. How much are them candies, they asked her. How much have you got, she replied. We've only a penny between us. Them's 2 for a penny, she lied. And the daylight grew heavy with thunder, and the smell of the rain on the wind. Ain't it just like a human? Here comes that rainbow again. One truck driver said to the waitress, After the kids went outside, them candies ain't two for a penny. So what's it to you, she replied. In silence they finished their coffee, got up and nodded goodbye. She called, hey, you left too much money. So what's it to you, they replied. And the daylight grew heavy with thunder, and the smell of the rain on the wind. Ain't it just like human? Here comes that rainbow again.
Come on here and sit down, sir. Terrific, Johnny. Very nice. Just terrific. I don't know what to do with that. Just toss it here. Very nice. Good heavens. Now, this, I like this. This is nice.
Thank you.
When, Waylon, you were here, was it just about a year ago?
About a year ago, I think so.
Yeah. And at the time, we were talking a little bit about, there was a period in your lives when you guys were roommates.
Yeah.
Now, where did this take place? What was, first, let's get Johnny's recollections of this.
Wasn't that the Madison Apartments in Madison, Tennessee? I had the apartment and you moved in. Yeah.
Well, you did. I did the cleaning, and you were the cook.
June came over and cleaned.
I tell you, I'll never forget, John. Man, I never saw anything as funny in my life. It's the thing. When you used to come over at that apartment, and those are great times, you know.
Good biscuits, though.
You know? Yeah, I tell you, the thing.
Interesting article in here about Ernest Tubb. But you know, also what I wanted to say, I think when you were here, Johnny was a little under the weather.
Yeah, I was really worried about him.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
He came out of it like a champ, though.
Under the weather, was that when I was in alcohol and drug treatment center?
No. You was in the hospital.
Oh.
No, I was still on drugs. You was off of them, I think.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, I may have been off of them, but that was a period of my life when the only person that would talk to me was the Lord, and the only woman that would have me was Betty Ford. That's where I wound up.
You know, you bring up an interesting point. There's an article, a little mention here in one of the New York City papers.
I was trying to give you an opening to ask me about all that.
Oh, I'm sorry. What,
no, go ahead.
No, do you want to talk about that?
I don't care.
No,
go
all
ahead.
right, go ahead and talk about it. Tell me all you want to know. All I want to know about it.
Well, no, what is it you want to ask?
No, you're go ahead. And I think what you got to say is probably more interesting than what I got.
I didn't have anything to say, really. I was kidding you.
No, you weren't.
All right, I wanted to say this, that that 1 out of 6 people, these people don't want to hear about alcohol and drug abuse and how to control it and stop it. They don't want to hear that. Not on this show.
No,
Not this lady.
well, you know, I'm interested in Waylon's remark that when he was on the show, you were off drugs, but he was still on. So, in a certain respect, this is your first appearance on the show, then, isn't it?
Yes, this is the first one I remember.
Yeah. So I'm not sure we got our money's worth that night.
You probably got more than you bargained for.
But anyway, everything's good in your life again.
Just great.
Now, at what length of time, how many years did you go by under this haze and blur of this stuff?
Well, I remember most everything. I had periods of blackout when I would, you know, you can always find excuses for taking drugs, and sometimes it was a pain, a broken bone, and I would take mood-altering painkillers, you know?
But how often would you get a broken bone?
Well, I kept a hammer in one pocket and painkillers in the other pocket. No, you know, I read an article about me in one of these papers recently about Johnny Cash was on mood-altering pain medication because of his cowboy boots. The high heels gave him back pain. I never thought of that either. You know why? And I thought about all the excuses we use for taking drugs, like your wife left you, or your wife didn't leave you.
Yeah.
It's a good reason for taking drugs. Or your dog died, or your dog didn't die.
Yeah.
Or it's Monday, or it's Saturday.
Anything goes.
Anything is a good reason. Was a good reason for taking drugs.
Yeah.
To answer your question, I started taking them in 1958, amphetamines and barbiturates.
1958.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
59, to get up and come down, you know. And then I controlled it pretty well for a while, like you can do, but pretty soon it's like the alcoholic drinks out of the bottle, and finally the bottle starts drinking out of him. The pills were starting to take me in 1967 with the help of June and my faith and my religion and willpower. I managed to stop for a long, long time, but it was a broken bone that got me started back to taking medication again, pain medication. And then it would make me nervous, so I'd take something to go to sleep, and then I'd take something to get up in the morning.
You know,
got to be a cycle again.
Chris Christopherson was here not too long ago, and he seemed to indicate that he was kind of no longer on autopilot, and that he seemed to be, things were, you know, a little clearer to him. Did you notice a big difference when you got things squared away as far as performing and writing and?
Oh yeah, I remember everything the last 14 months. It's a beautiful life, the straight life is.
Now, Waylon, does this? Do you have a similar story here? Was this pretty much the deal with you?
I was on drugs for 21 years, almost solid, you know. And like John, I had blackout times too, but I remember most of it too. I've been off for like going on my 11th month now.
Well, good. And, now, the two of you. Don't screw it up, all right?
I ain't going to.
11 months.
I wouldn't change. I'll tell you, I wouldn't change it. Anything, and I mean, and I had it bad, you know.
Well, 21 years, yeah, that's not just like a casual flirtation.
It's like Paul Kennerly, a songwriter in Nashville. He's from England, and he asked me how much drugs I did a day, and I told him, you know, it was over $1,000 a day, and he said, don't you think that was a trifle excessive?
Oh my God! Good heavens!
You can't believe what that can do for your taxes, too, you know?
Yeah. Now, this, I'm guessing, is going to be one hell of a show. This is Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash tomorrow night through Sunday night. Anybody else that we ought to mention on the bill?
June Carter and Jesse Coulter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you guys are being chaperoned. Not a bad idea. Johnny, it was a real pleasure to meet you. Quite a thrill. And Waylon, nice to see you again. Come back anytime. We get applause here for Station Identifications. We'll be back with Leon Spinks.